Hi, I'm Christy. I want to talk to you today about AJ's graduation. As I sat down to write this, I realized that a graduation ceremony is really kind of a strange thing. We gather in this big location to celebrate, and we're celebrating the success of the completion of a major milestone in a young adult's life. And then we ask them to sit quietly for a very long time and not act like they're the least bit excited about anything. As AJ would say, that's just weird. Graduation was another one of those events that AJ was super excited about. He talked about it incessantly for weeks beforehand. And the graduation classes in our area are huge. They're like 700, 800, 900 students in a graduating class. So the graduation ceremonies actually take place in a couple of the big venues in our town. For ours, it was at the University Arena. Fortunately, it was inside, so we were in the air conditioning. Now, one of the main things that we considered in deciding whether or not AJ would participate was, would he be able to sit quietly without distracting anybody else for 90 minutes? Like I said, long time. His teacher agreed that he could. We thought he could, so we decided to have him participate. We weren't sure that he would totally understand or follow everything that was going on around him. And I think we were right about that. I don't think he really understood everything that was happening around him or followed what was being said in the speeches. But he did sit there quietly and without distracting others. When we actually got to the location a few minutes before he had to be there for check-in, we got a few pictures of him in his cap and gown, and then we met up with his teacher, grabbed a couple pictures there, and then his teacher took him back to the lineup area. We went in to the arena and we sat down. And then the graduates started filing in, and we watched very closely, trying to figure out, where's AJ? Where's he sitting? And like I said, we watched really closely. Well, at least as closely as you can in a major arena where the people walking in look like they're about 6 inches tall. I was really glad we had cameras with telephoto lenses on them. So my husband was able to find AJ through the lens of his camera, and he walked in like a pro, took his seat, sat there quietly, and sat appropriately through the whole thing. Through the speeches, through the songs that were sung, through the beginning of diplomas. I was really impressed with it. And then it was his turn, and he got up and he followed his line through, lined up where he was supposed to line up, went through, walked across the stage, got his diploma, and walked down the steps off the stage, and then he wasn't quite sure what to do. So I kind of stood there looking around. Fortunately, the student that was next in line behind him came in and helped guide him back to his seat, so it was no big deal. Once the ceremony was over, we went outside to wait, and wait, and wait some more, in the heat. Because remember, we live in Vegas, end of May, already really hot outside. Eventually, we got a text from his teacher saying that they were on their way out, and so we texted back, told them about where we were so we could find each other. Now, what I didn't realize was they had already collected their cap and gown before they exited the arena. Well, the gown. He got to keep the hat and tassel. But so AJ came back to us in his street clothes, so at that point I was really glad we'd already gotten a few of those pictures. Overall, I'm really glad that we had AJ participate in graduation. Like I said before, I don't think he understood everything that happened and all that went on around him, but he was excited to be a part of it. He understood, and he knows that he has graduated from high school, and he is very proud of that accomplishment, as he should be. Just like with so many other areas, and I've mentioned this before, the decision of whether or not to participate in an event like graduation, or any event really, will really vary from person to person and family to family. There are many factors that go into influencing these decisions. Things like balancing reality with what's realistic with what you really want them to participate in. And you know, these events are important, but are they capable of it? And I think it's really one of those times where you have to really take each event individually and look at what's required of the event. What is your loved one capable of? There were a number of events for senior year that AJ just simply didn't participate in. Some of them we didn't think he'd really care about. Others he never even mentioned, and we didn't mention them to him, so we just kind of skipped them. Others he wasn't able to participate in fully, or we thought he might be a distraction to others, so we didn't have him participate. Others, there was one in particular that I'm thinking of that we couldn't find a buddy for him to buddy up with, and so in the end he didn't participate in that one either. But as I look back over his whole senior year and as I hear him talk about it, I think he's really happy with how his senior year went. And I don't think that he feels like he missed out on anything. So my encouragement from all of this and my takeaway is that you would allow and maybe even encourage participation in some of these big events to the fullest ability that your loved one has. Now, will that be every aspect of it? Probably not. And that's okay. Like I said, AJ didn't participate in every single senior year activity, but he walked away content with all that he did participate in. And I think that's the big takeaway for us. And to make sure that your loved one doesn't feel like they missed out on anything important. So my question for you this week is this: what factors do you consider in helping you to decide what events your loved one should participate in and how much they should participate in some of these big events? I'd love to hear what some of these are. You could leave me a comment below or over on my blog at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This post originally posted in September of 2018. I would love for any comments that you have because other families might find them helpful in making their decisions as well, and we can help each other out. I'd love it if you would share this with anybody that you think might enjoy it or find it helpful. And if you want to know about the latest content as it's released, I'd love for you to join my email list. Again, you can do that over on my website. I promise to only send things that I think are helpful, informational, or useful. I'm very grateful for a successful graduation and a completion to high school. And I'm reminded that I am blessed and that life is good and there is never a dull moment.